Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. And on my immediate left, we have Neil Wells. He is our special guest. And we're going to be talking Ultraman today, and we're going to be talking Speed Racer. We're going to be talking A.L.F. and, all this other science fiction stuff.
Right.
And on my further left, affectionately our aging Rocker Emmett. And we're on the backdrop with Ultraman. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. You want to start us off?
Heavenly Father, bless our food and our time together in Jesus' name.
All right. So, Neil, since you're the special guest here, and I'm just watching this wine here, let's talk about you a little bit. Now, you just recently graduated high school, right?
Oh, yeah, last week.
Okay,
congratulations.
Yeah.
You're out of that prison. Yep.
4 years too long.
Yep, I hated school.
The pomp and circumstance.
Yes.
When I was in band, I had to play that for graduation. It was,
Yeah.
we just had to play it on loop. It was awful.
Yeah. I graduated, I guess that same time, 31 years ago. I've been out of school.
I wish I could say that I graduated in 76.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't even a dot in your mama's eye. Not 1976.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, how old was I? I just turned 17. And so when I started college, I was still 17 at the time.
Yep.
I was 16 when I started my senior year.
Yep. Whoa.
Yeah, well, that was because we traveled an awful lot.
Yeah.
And you know how sometimes you travel, like, say, different countries or states, it offsets whatever their zoning or their system is for the school. And that's how I was able to start my senior year at 16.
Cool.
My grades were good enough at the time anyway.
Good.
I mean, that's good. Yeah.
Now, I come from a military family, see? I don't know if you knew that, but my father was stationed in Taiwan.
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Yeah. So that's how we were able to live overseas. And in that time period, which was like the early 60s, mid 60s, somewhere around there, they had all this science fiction stuff that was really popular.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's when the genre was really kind of hitting its strides.
And so my parents used to take me and my brother to the movie theater every Saturday, and it was literally 25 cents to see a movie.
Wow.
So we would see these Godzilla movies, similar to this backdrop here, which we'll get into in a moment. And they had like Godzilla, Mothra.
Yeah, I loved Mothra. I loved Mothra.
Rodan, the flying monster that shoot the fire out of his mouth. And you know what's funny is, why is it always Tokyo? Why do the monsters always attack Tokyo?
Well,
is it something in the drinking water, or I don't know.
Well, I mean, in the U.S., why is it always New York?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point. It just is.
I know.
But anyway, getting back to living overseas, every Saturday we saw these Godzilla movies, and they had them all destroy all monsters.
Cool.
And just all the rest of them. You won't know this song. This goes before your time.
Folks in the television audience, I'm not sick, I've got allergies. I'm on allergy shots, I got mine yesterday.
Cool.
So, basically, I still have allergies.
This is such a cool song. This song goes way back, too.
Catchy.
Yeah, it's called This Guy's in Love With You.
I love easy listening, as well as punk rock and everything.
Yeah, it's fun,
It's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And here's the conclusion. Have you ever heard this song before? The original?
I don't think so.
No. All right, I'll tell you about the history of that song. Stop on that note right there. That's called This Guy's in Love With You. It was written by a composer named Burt Bacharach, and there's a famous trumpeter of the 60s named Herb Alpert that made it famous. He didn't do much trumpet playing, but see, what they did, they had a letter H in the backdrop, so they put him on the line that puts the two
Yep.
lines together for the letter H, and he was sitting there singing the song. That's how they introduced it to the world, and it was a hit, and everybody started doing it. But anyway, getting back to our backdrops, you can see this is Speed Racer. Now, Speed Racer, in Japan, they did a series of Japanese animated cartoons. There was Speed Racer, there was Marine Boy. Now, I don't know if you know Marine Boy or not.
Never heard of him.
They had a song that went something like this. You don't recognize that, do you?
No. What was Marine Boy? Yeah.
All right, Marine Boy was similar to Speed Racer. In fact, he looked like Speed Racer. But the difference is, he had this suit like Aquaman, and he would go underwater, and he had what was called oxo gum. So he would chew his gum, and he could breathe underwater for like a half hour. And he had a companion, this dolphin. This white dolphin was his companion, and it was similar to Speed Racer. And he had this boomerang. He had this boomerang, and when he would throw it, whether it's underwater or on top of the water, it would electrocute the person that he throws the boomerang at. See,
it seems really dangerous underwater.
Yeah,
especially in salt water.
I know, but it's a cartoon, so they're not gonna get all like technical, like today's standards.
Yeah.
But he was a lot like Aquaman. He controlled the fish underwater and stuff like that. And he had all these powers and stuff. And after a half hour, he had to go back up for get some real oxygen and chew the oxogum is what they called it, and go back under.
Right.
And this is Speed Racer here, and this is the Mach 5 for the television audience that may not remember. This is the original Speed Racer.
Yeah.
And his father, Pops, Speed had an older brother, and so he was a racer too.
Yeah.
But he was arrogant, and he never listened to his father. So they had an episode in one of the Speed Racer cartoons where the older brother, Rex, was about to win. And he crashes the car just when he's going to go to a finish line. And so Pops was ticked off. You never do what I tell you to do, right? And so Rex, the older brother, says, I'm running away from home.
Yep.
So then you fast forward, and then Speed Racer is the second born son. He becomes a racer also. And by this time, his father designs this white car called the Mach 5.
Yeah.
And so the older boy, Rex, came back on the scene. But he didn't come back as Rex. He came back as Racer X, the mysterious driver. See?
Oh, what a moniker.
Yeah, so Pops did not know that Racer X was really his older son.
Yeah.
And Speed did not know that Racer X was really his older brother. Everybody thought that he was just a bad racer, because every time he'd enter a race, somebody would lose or crash. Right. And of course, Racer X wasn't the cause of it, but everybody was thinking that. So Speed Racer was on the defensive when they had this race.
Yeah.
But they had an episode where finally Speed Racer finds out that Racer X was really his brother.
Oh,
and so so what Racer X does is he punches Steve and punches Speed, knocks him out to prevent him from discovering that Racer X really was his older brother. And then when Speed was out unconscious, like, sorry, brother, I had to do that to you, but you can't find out who I am. So he comforts his brother, makes sure he's okay, and he walks off. His brother wakes up. Come back, brother, come back! But he never knows for sure if that was his brother, he just suspects it.
Right.
But getting back to this car here, this car had these gadgets, like, see the wheels right there? There was like this thing that would come around the wheel, like traction, like a tractor or something that would grip the ground. And then when Speed Racer was in a situation where he was like in the jungle, in the front of the car, these little blades would come out and knock over trees. And then if he really got in trouble and he fell off the edge of a cliff, he would punch a button and see the glass there. Well, there would be an outer glass that would come over and shield him and his passengers, and they could stay underwater for 30 minutes. So, these Japanese animated cartoons, they always think of all these unusual tricks that these cars could do.
The car does seem like such a deus ex machina.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, the car, see, Speed Racer was a fine racer, but the car did the work. Whereas his brother, Racer X, was a real racer, because the car didn't do all those tricks. But Pops is the designer of the Mach 5 and the original car that Racer X drove. And then Racer X went on and got his own car that he could do some things, but not quite to the degree that the Mark V could.
Yeah.
So it was quite a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that Speed Racer was probably the most popular cartoon of all the Japanese animated cartoons, like, you know, more popular Marine Boy and Ultraman and Johnny Sokko and his flying robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say probably for around that time period. Like,
We're just talking about that time period. I know that as time goes by, like your generation,
Yeah, like, I mean, Speed Racer, you know, it just kept going, and it was actually pretty rare for something like that to actually make it to the West at that time. But you know, we did get it, and it was popular, caught on.
Let's see if I can play the theme song.
I hate to say it, but I saw some of Speed Racer on the Cartoon Network. I didn't care for it. The Japanese animation I like is about robots fighting other giant robots, like the Shogun Warrior series from this. I can't remember where in that era. They had a bunch of movies. People would know how to man a robot. It would fire lasers and missiles, and often they would fight other alien races from outer space that were trying to conquer Earth, and it was.
But see, it was the same plot line, whether it was Johnny Sokko. There was always somebody from outer space that wanted to come and take over the Earth, and he always landed in Tokyo.
Did you ever watch Gundam, Emmet?
Gundam? No.
That's just about giant robots fighting giant robots.
I remember Gundam, yeah.
Well, let's talk about this scene here. This monster behind Ultraman is pronounced Zeton, Z-E-T-T-O-N. Now, he's the only monster that defeats Ultraman at the end of the series. Because I don't know if you're familiar with the synopsis of Ultraman. Basically, Bimlar escaped. Ultraman was flying through space at the beginning of the episode. You don't see it, they just tell you in the narration. And he's taken Bimlar to be punished for wreaking havoc throughout the universe. And Bimlar escapes, and he goes into the Earth's atmosphere, so naturally Ultraman's going to go after him.
Yeah.
And when Ultraman goes into Earth's atmosphere, the Science Patrol, anytime something enters the atmosphere of the planet, you know they're going to check it out.
Right.
So they sent Hayata to go investigate. It's the same old plot like the Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, Hayata goes in his little spaceship, and he sees Bimlar in his spaceship and Ultraman in his spaceship going after each other. And Ultraman accidentally crashes into Hayata, killing him. And so he feels really bad, says, I gotta do something about this. I can't let this man die. So Ultraman decides to sacrifice his life, give his life to Hayata, so they become one. And they decide they're gonna fight the monster. So the first monster they're gonna go after is Bimlar, who was already on Earth, because he's wreaking havoc, like wrecking buildings and shooting fire out of his mouth and everything.
Yeah.
And so Hayata just becomes himself and stays in his human form.
Right.
And then when he gets in trouble, he squeezes what's called a beta capsule, and it turns him into Ultraman.
Interesting.
He becomes the big giant like what we see here. And so he goes after the monsters. So throughout the entire series, they went after Bimlar first. Ultraman kills it. And then every time a monster would attack the Earth, Hayata and the Science Patrol would try to deal with it. If they couldn't, then Hayata would turn into Ultraman and wipe out the monster. But in this episode here, this monster should have lost. But the reason he won is because Ultraman wasn't paying attention like he should have as far as fighting the monster. And see the center of his chest right here? That's called a warning light. And when that warning light starts going off, he starts running out of energy.
Okay.
Because see, when Ultraman goes into the Earth's atmosphere, his power starts to diminish. Now, when he's in space, you know, he doesn't have that problem. Every time you go into Earth's atmosphere, something goes wrong. They start losing their powers. It's the same with Ultraman. And so that warning light on his chest would start flashing, see? And he'd have so much time before he would die or whatever. So when that warning light would start blinking, he had to fly toward the sun to get more energy, and then he'd come back to Earth.
Very, like, almost Superman-esque in a way.
Yeah, that's it. The same plot line. But in this scene here, as I said, Ultraman gets careless, not paying attention to what he's doing. He's fighting this monster. So this monster had some rays that came out of his hand, and it zapped
Fascinating.
him. It hit the power light while the power light was flashing, which caused Ultraman to get weaker, and then he collapses. And that's how come he loses to this creature here. Now, in real life, they had like 39 episodes of Ultraman in the series. So Ultraman actually defeats all 38 monsters in the 38 episodes. He loses to this one. So the superior from M78 in the 40th galaxy has to fly to Earth. And Ultraman is laying like this, just unconscious, dreaming of his past battles.
Right.
So his superior, it's what they always call the superior, raises Ultraman like this from the ground, and then they surround themselves in this little ball.
Yeah.
And the superior looks like Ultraman too, but an older version. He's like all ticked off. Why did you let that monster defeat you? You should have won that fight.
Yeah.
I know, sir. I got careless. And so the superior says, well, in order for you to fight, you have to get that warning light fixed, or you won't be able to fight. So Ultraman has to go home at the end of the series. But if he leaves the Earth, then Hayata will die because they were
Right.
one. So the superiors set it up where Ultraman wouldn't die until Ultraman came back. And they can become one again. That's how the series ended. And this was the creature that defeated Ultraman.
Interesting.
And so the Science Patrol was getting more fancier with their gadgets. So what they did was they had this gun that they just invented.
Yeah.
So they shot it, which hit Zeton in the chest. It causes him to fly up in the air, and it explodes. And that's that's how they killed it. But throughout the series, the Science Patrol was getting more fancy with their equipment, but they could never wipe out a monster. And like the first episode, it was so funny because they were flying their planes and shooting these rockets at Bimlar, and it just wouldn't affect him.
Wow.
Right.
And stuff like that. And their ray guns weren't working, so Hayata had to become Ultraman. And Ultraman had these powers, like he would cross his hands like this, see?
Yeah, and he'd shoot lasers.
And there'd be a laser come out of his hand. Or he would go something like this with his chest and go like this. And this little circular saw would come out of the hand.
Interesting.
Right.
And cut the monster or whatever.
The shooting the laser like this is actually funny just because that actually shows up as pop culture references. Like this cartoon I used to watch where there was a character who looked suspiciously like Ultraman who'd do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they had suit actors that did mild martial art moves in real life when they were shooting these scenes. And they had this interview. Will Smith, you know him, the comedian? Will Smith? Will Smith used to watch Ultraman growing up too, because he's about my age.
Yeah.
And of course, as the younger generation come along, nobody really remembers Ultraman. So he was on a talk show one night, and he was talking about Ultraman, and the interviewer had never heard of him.
Right. Right.
And the audience didn't know who Ultraman was because Ultraman's not from the United States, obviously. So the more Will Smith was trying to explain it, the funnier it got. And then when Will Smith was doing these tricks and, don't you guys remember this and that? And nobody remembered it, see? So it just got funnier and funnier the more he would try to explain it.
Yeah.
Because, see, what they did was, like, when they made these cartoons in Japan, they would send it to the United States and they'd have the dubbing.
Yeah.
And it was always funny because the words never matched them out. Like those
I know,
Bruce Lee
yeah,
movies
yeah.
or those Kung Fu movies.
Yep.
It was always funny. It's like,
I
you hear
know.
this dialogue and the lips aren't moving, all of a sudden the lips are moving.
Yeah.
You got to kill this bad guy here, and I'm going to send you out there. And it was just so funny.
Yeah.
And that's what makes those Japanese
Mm-hmm.
Kung Fu movies classics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You know, because everybody's always talking about the mismatch
Yeah.
and so on. Or when you talk about Godzilla and Mothra and all the rest, it's the same plot.
Mhm.
Same scenario. Words don't match. It doesn't match the mouth. It doesn't match the action. It's the same plot line. Monster comes, wipes out buildings, they attack Japan. The scientists can't figure out how to kill this monster. And there's usually somebody who can figure it out, whether it's Ultraman or Johnny Sokko or whoever. And you and I talked about Johnny Sokko once.
We did.
Johnny Sokko was similar to Ultraman. He was this big giant robot. And the bad guys built it because their intent was to take over the world with this robot.
Yeah.
They had just built it, but they hadn't activated it. So the very first voice that the robot heard, the robot would obey. And so they had this scene where the good guys knew the bad guys had built this killer robot. So they sneaked into the bad headquarters to try to infiltrate them. And they had that little boy, Johnny Sokko, with him because the bad guys tried to kill this kid.
Yeah.
Because the kid was hanging out with the good guys that were trying to stop the bad guys.
Yeah.
They don't have no mercy. They'll wipe out anybody, these bad guys. So the good guys were protecting this little 10-year-old kid, and they infiltrated the headquarters where the robot was. And you know how children are. They'll grab something, and this 10-year-old kid grabs this watch that happens to be a microphone that would go into the hearing of the robot, and the kid just grabs it as, "Move forward, giant robot." So that killed the bad guy's idea because they couldn't, it was activated, and once it was activated, there was no going back. So they had to try to get this kid again because the kid had control of the robot. So after the initial activating of this robot, they had to recruit this kid to join that organization, the good organization. And they had to teach this kid how to be one of them. And since his voice had control of the robot, they had to teach him how to use the robot. And that's how the series was.
Interesting, yep.
And it had a theme song that went like this. Recognize it?
I don't. No, I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind, but that was the theme to Johnny Sokko. But again, and the difference between Ultraman and Johnny Sokko, Johnny Sokko's robot actually didn't do anything until the kid spoke into the watch. So it was really the boy watching the fight and programming the robot. And this robot had what was called a mega punch. So you go, use your mega punch, and that thing would go like a robot, and then it would knock the monster clear over. And then it had these missiles. Use your missiles, and all like they always make that same noise. And these like 8 missiles, and he'd be shooting all the monsters like this. And
but they'd always be ineffective when the
same old.
Gotta have conflict.
Yeah, of course. And so the robot would have to fight for its money, and it had like this thing with its eyes, and these rays would come out.
Fascinating.
And it had like this fire that would come out of its arm. Just crazy.
But no laser
stuff.
guns. It had lasers out of its eyes, but no lasers out of its hands or anything.
No, it had missiles that came out of the hand, out of the tips of the fingers, and it had this fire that would shoot out of its arm, and just crazy stuff like that. But the robot would eventually win.
Yeah.
And whereas Ultraman just had like these rays and things like that. So
Ultraman was more cosmic.
Yeah. Whereas Johnny Sokko was just more mechanical, and it always had like this scraping metal sound.
Right.
Like when he would punch and stuff, just crazy.
Gotta sell the robot.
Yeah, so it was focused around the robot and protecting that kid who accidentally spoke in there. And the only reason why the bad guys built the robot in the first place is because the scientist who designed it was a good guy. So the bad guys captured him and said, "You don't build this robot, we're going to kill you." So he builds this robot, right?
Right.
And then when he finds out that the good guy sneaked in there, he says, "I am the professor that designed this robot. I want you guys to know that I'm a good guy. I'm not really a bad guy. They forced me to build it." So just corny. But getting back to Taiwan, it was 25 cents to see a movie. Every weekend, a literal quarter. And we would be in the movie theater for like 3 or 4 hours and stuff like that. Watch like 2 movies, and they were usually Japanese related. We lived in Taiwan, and I understand you were in Japan last year.
Not for very long, but I was there. It was Ultraman merchandise everywhere. I almost bought a mask actually.
Yeah, well, and what part of Japan were you in?
Oh, I was all over the place.
Wow.
Okay, what was the purpose of your trip? Was it a school trip?
Yeah, visiting our sister school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So even though in the United States you may not hear about Ultraman and Godzilla, and so I can see we're over there.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. That's
Yeah,
big business there.
Toys and masks.
Well, cool.
Did they have Speed Racer stuff and all the other stuff, or
I
was
didn't
it mostly
see any Speed Racer
Godzilla?
stuff. There was some Godzilla.
Yeah,
I
but
did
mostly
see
Ultraman, right? Ultraman
Yeah, there was quite a bit of Ultraman.
Yeah.
That's a cult,
Yeah, definitely.
really cult thing going on
yeah.
over there in that part of the world.
Yeah.
And changing subject, science fiction. Even though we're on the set of Ultraman
Yeah.
and Speed Racer, there was another series on television, A.L.F.
Oh, I loved A.L.F. Yeah.
Yeah, are you?
Life.
Well, that would sort of fit in that category, but it wasn't a Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super American sitcom.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
And for those who don't remember, A.L.F was this creature that
Mm-hmm.
crashed into Tanner
Yes.
family's garage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how the series started.
Yeah.
And you know a lot about if you I highlighted some. You want to tell the TV audience a little bit about A.L.F too.
Well, basically, A.L.F. is an American sitcom that aired from NBC from September 22nd, 1986 to March 24th, 1990. It was the first television series to be presented in Dolby sound, but the title character is Gordon Shumway, a friendly extraterrestrial nicknamed A.L.F., an acronym for alien life form, who crash lands in the garage of the suburban middle-class Tanner family, and is basically his planet had been destroyed in a nuclear war. And we've talked about A.L.F. a lot, but at the same time, he was bored constantly, and survivor skills and a lot of boredom, despair, and loneliness. It caused a lot of difficulty for the Tanners. Like,
Yeah.
moved into their home and hide him from the alien task force that the Tanners did. And their nosy neighbors, Trevor and Raquel Monick, that was hilarious. They were both hilarious.
Yeah, they just were like these nosy neighbors that knew something was going on in
yes.
that Tanner family. It's the same plot line.
Yeah.
They knew something was
Classic
going
archetype.
on.
Yeah.
They knew something was going on, but they couldn't put their finger on it. And then, of course, the family had to protect A.L.F.
Yeah.
and hide him and stuff. But
Yeah.
he was always getting into mischief.
Always. Like, it is eventually revealed that A.L.F.'s home planet Melmac exploded because of a catastrophe involving a nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
In the season 1 episode, Pennsylvania 5000, which was hilarious, A.L.F. tries to convince the President of the United States to stop the nuclear program,
Uh-huh.
as A.L.F. fears the Earth might suffer a fate similar to Melmac's, though miscalculating his words causes the President of National Security to call the FBI to arrest Willie.
Can you imagine that? Yeah.
Hilarious. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
they got on
All
the
in
phone.
hijinks.
Yeah, and whereas instead of A.L.F. being more science fiction,
Yeah.
it's more comical.
Yeah.
But I
Exactly.
think it fits in that genre there as far as
Yes.
aliens and
Yes,
all
it
that.
does.
But
Yeah.
A.L.F. was really the #1 television show on NBC in its heyday.
Yeah.
Probably before your time.
It was so hilarious. Sometimes I couldn't stop laughing. I had tears coming down my cheeks because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Thing is, in that episode,
And there we are. Here's A.L.F.
Yeah.
right here in the background right here. He was just
Yeah.
quite a character.
he
Right.
gets on Willie's two-way walkie-talkie, not walkie, but ham radio, and is able to contact Air Force One. And President Ronald Reagan was indisposed in the bathroom. It was a second to take it. My name is A.L.F. Who's A.L.F.? A.L.F. Who? Look, I want to talk to the president about our bombs. Bombs? The
Yeah,
ones
so-
we're thinking about using. Tell him that I mean business and time is running out. So immediately they track, A.L.F. in the transmission to A.L.F.'s home and arrest Willie Tanner. Oh, I
Yeah.
about died laughing.
They always just got in these situations here.
Yeah.
But
It-
yeah, this show was #1
Yeah.
show in television.
Oh, yeah.
It really was. It was that popular.
It was hilarious.
But it was more comical instead of
Yeah,
the
It was.
Japanese ones.
Has all the ingredients for a classic family sitcom.
It was. It
It
was
was.
absolutely
It
that.
was.
You got it.
Yeah, let me see this here. And I'm not doing much playing today, but just talking about this. Now, Pennsylvania, here's some trivia for both of you. You know there was a famous song called Pennsylvania 65000?
I did not know that.
There was an actual song called that. Can you tell me, take a guess who the artist was?
No clue.
No clue?
Never
You
heard
have
of the
any
song.
idea?
No.
Glenn Miller.
Glenn Miller.
He was a famous trombone player of the 1940s, and that's where that song came from. Pennsylvania
Yeah.
65000.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a very famous song in 1940ish or whatever.
Mhm.
But I just want to throw that trivia in, or for the TV buffs, and stuff like that.
Right.
But it was a pretty cool song. It was very popular at its time. I think it hit the charts of that era, and I think he may have gotten some awards for that song too. Good Miller.
Anyway, A.L.F is on now on Meet TV in 194. It was on.
Right, it was on television just last night. I was looking at a little bit of it. The family consists of Willie, who is a social worker, his wife Kate, their teenage daughter Lynn, and the younger son Brian, and their cat Lucky.
Yeah.
Cat that they're always trying to eat.
Eats cats.
Yeah,
No,
he
Mac
was
Anthony
always
just
trying to get
eat
his
the cat.
hands on
Hilarious.
that cat, trying to. And in fact, I think that he has the cat
Right
between
there.
two pieces of bread right there behind
Isn't
you.
that hilarious?
Yeah, he was always trying to mess with the family cat. But yeah, this A.L.F show, he got that family into so
Yes.
much trouble every week.
And often they'd have huge expenses because he would crash into something or get something wrong or whatever, and basically cost the family so much money,
Yeah, or A.L.F would be sneaking around like last night's episode. Daughter, Lynn she's trying to get a date.
Yeah.
Right.
And the date would say, "What's a cute girl like you be doing by yourself? Let's go out." And A.L.F would be spying on
Yeah.
but the boyfriend couldn't see A.L.F. So Lynn would say, like, this go away. And so the boyfriend didn't know what the problem was.
Right.
And so he'd turn around, there's nothing there, and then when the boyfriend would turn around, A.L.F would show up again. A.L.F would show up again. So the boyfriend was thinking, there's something wrong with this girl. She must be nuts. She's talking to herself, because she'd be like, "A.L.F, stop it, And it was just one of those.
It was hilarious.
Hilarious. The boy would never see A.L.F because he would disappear.
Oh, right.
The moment
last
he'd
second,
turn around, just turn around, he'd be gone.
There's one thing I was thinking about this morning that disappointed me about Me TV showing of A.L.F. They
What's
cut
that?
some important scenes, and I was worried they were going to do that. They did.
Well, it's probably for time's sake, because you got to remember that's Me TV. It's a good station, but I guess they have these little editing time slots or whatever, because they did that with some of the other shows. They're cutting.
I know, and that makes me mad. That really, really does. Like, they cut out the end. They cut out, because basically the whole thing is A.L.F was in love with the daughter Lynn Tanner. She thought they were falling in love, and he didn't want anyone else in her life, like a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's why.
And he wrote
that
a music
episode,
video, an excellent one, where he just wrote this, you're the one that's out of this world. Pretty good. You're the one that's out of this world. I'm spinning in an orbit I can never get out of because you're the one that's out of this world. I mean, A.L.F was very talented with musical instruments.
You know the song, Neil?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. I do.
Secret Agent Man.
Yeah, I know Secret Agent Man.
Yeah.
Good.
Here's the thing is, A.L.F and Lynn kind of they kind of saw each other's point of view, but they cut the trailer ending. You know how after the commercials, they might have a funny ending with something? They cut out an important scene where Willie decided to make a video for his wife, Kate. And he was going, Saturday, and A.L.F was filming this, Saturday, and it was just kind of funny. No, A.L.F, I think I'll just stick with the red pumps. And A.L.F said, I'll grab the camera. About died laughing. I mean, that cut that out. To me, that was important. Every moment in A.L.F. to me, I treasured. I treasured every moment,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you know this song, Neil, by chance? You ever heard it?
I don't think so.
Spinning the dryer.
That's called Swingin' Safari is the name of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a kind of a swinging kind of a feel to it.
Yeah.
So let's tell the TV audience more about you. Where are you from?
Right here in Missoula.
Oh, you were born here
Yeah.
in Missoula?
Well, Florence.
Well,
but
Florence. Okay, yeah. Well, you're a Missoulian.
Yeah. Like
And you're
9,
associated
30
with
miles.
MCAT. How long have you been associated with the studio now?
About 7 years.
How do you like it?
Oh, it's great.
And
Yeah.
you get to do all the special effects, like what is it, 3D stuff and.
Oh yeah, we've been doing a lot with VR.
Oh, cool! Yeah, for the
Yeah.
younger audience. What
Yeah.
other stuff do you guys do, as far as your relation with the studio as far as the younger generation? I'm sure you do stuff.
Well, we're about to start doing summer camps, which I'm counseling for. So,
Wonderful.
You know, there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of stop motion, and then there's a zombie camp, which
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to because
You're going to be teaching all of that and so
yeah,
on?
I'm going to be helping with that. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, while we're on the air, if you want to tell people when you're going to do that and if they want to get involved,
Oh,
why don't
actually,
you,
here, let me.
why don't you just look in that camera? Let's just talk about
Here,
that.
let me grab the dates.
Yeah, let's get the dates in here. We might as well give you guys a little plug.
Wait, should
here.
I grab that thing from on that TV? I mean, that
Yeah, why not? Yeah, get that
Whatever that
calendar.
is, that
yeah,
table.
that's the calendar there, I believe it is.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you just look in that camera and we can talk about that and tell the viewing audience when and what have you, and the names and so on.
All right.
So for a while, I won't be able to do my show, you know. But yeah, we won't be
Probably
able
not.
to do new episodes of this.
No, yeah, that's why I wanted to do this today.
bit of hiatus.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Let me actually get the camp names up.
Okay, and then you can just tell the viewing audience. And you know, over 40 minutes have already gone by, guys.
Fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah, time just flies.
Nah, it's not loaded.
Right.
That's it. Take your time.
Yeah.
Just make sure no music comes out of there because we got cut off once when we had a guest on it. We had to edit all that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, A.L.F is on now. I think for the summer, and Emmet's
That's
really happy
great.
about that.
I am very happy about that, but I don't like the fact that they're
I
cutting
know.
out
Well, they
scenes.
did that with Land of the Giants, and they did
Yeah, isn't that awful? Doesn't it just make you so frustrated if you're a drooling fan of Land of the Giants? They cut episodes, scenes out, and I haven't seen Land of the Giants in so long that I wouldn't even remember what scenes were cut out, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've seen A.L.F over and over and over and over again whenever they had reruns from
Right.
1989, you know?
Right.
And when they went into syndication, I think they went into syndication. When
Well-
did they?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look it up.
You know, it might have even been on MeTV or Wii or something. It might have been.
Mm-hmm.
Because, or was it on you? I don't remember when it was on, but it was on for a few years ago in repeats again, you know.
Right. Right.
And it might have even had it on MeTV. I can't remember, but they would cut out scenes from that too, you know. It just made me upset, you know.
Yeah. But this is so cool to be in the living room with the Tanner family
Yeah.
with A.L.F in the background there. But you had to be here, Neil, when it was in its heyday. I mean, everybody watched A.L.F. And it's amazing that this show really was number one.
Yeah.
It was number one on all three networks.
Mhm.
I mean, not on three networks, but with the three networks, A.L.F was number
Yeah.
one.
I think they had to retire it because they were running out of things for A.L.F.
Probably.
to do.
Yeah,
You know?
I think so. And I think it's good to quit when you're on top.
It is.
also,
Yeah,
you
quit
know.
while you're ahead.
Quit while you're ahead, yeah. That's what was that show, if I could remember? There were a lot of shows that did that. They quit while they had Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
And I think Cheers did it.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, but then Cheers also had the Frasier spinoff,
yeah.
so it kind of kept going in spirit.
Yeah. And there were some other shows, I can't think of them right now, that just quit while they're on top.
Well, I mean,
Jerry Seinfeld show.
That's
Oh,
Seinfeld, yeah.
definitely probably the best way to end it. Otherwise, it just
Oh.
kind of like
Well, I
stagnates
know,
and-
yeah, I know Seinfeld is an acquired taste.
Oh, I've tried to get into it. It was so boring. And I know I'm probably going to offend a lot of Seinfeld fans, but it was a show about nothing. And I didn't laugh once.
let's see.
It was to me, it was a disaster because it was a show about nothing. Kind of just yuppie angst in New York City.
Something like that.
And they had the
That
most
was
boring
fun.
plots. They had the most boring plots. I can't even remember some of them, but I think, oh yeah, wasn't there one where someone had lost a very expensive pen? Writing instrument pen. Like, I want that pen, but it's $500. Or
I don't know, but
Soup-
let's talk about that show. It was really about nothing.
Yeah,
Like they
well-
had this episode where
well, they bring that up in the
Yeah.
show, and I love it.
Seinfeld was gonna. He took a jacket from one of these annoying friends, if I remember this right. And so because Seinfeld took the jacket, the guy that gave the jacket decided Seinfeld owed him for the jacket. So you got to take me out to dinner,
Mhm.
right? And that's harmless. But what the guy would do is instead of going out to dinner, they just have a cup of coffee real quick. And then that guy would say, well, that doesn't count because that wasn't dinner. We just had coffee.
Yeah.
So the guy that gave the jacket kept working that, you know,
Right.
getting like piece of candy or tea or something, and finally Seinfeld had to return the jacket to get free of that.
Wasn't
Right,
Seinfeld
right.
supposed to be a comedy?
Yeah, well, it is, but it was a different kind of a comedy for its time.
It's still a sitcom, but like.
yeah, just.
But I didn't laugh once.
I mean, Seinfeld is not the kind of show that you could watch and say this was about such and such and such,
Yeah.
like say A.L.F. Because the writing was so unusual, I think, or just.
Yeah, well.
Well, it was literally a show about nothing. Like,
Yeah,
like
just-
Soup Nazi. They were complaining about this restaurant, how he gets his soup. They call him a soup Nazi. It's like, that was supposed to be, I learned a soup Nazi. I just sat there. I don't care. I
They
just-
had another episode about this guy that was a restaurant owner.
Yes.
His name was Poppy.
Yeah.
But Poppy didn't wash his hands every time he go to the men's room. He'd just leave the men's room and start cooking.
Right.
And so they had this scene where he did number 2. And Jerry Seinfeld was already in the bathroom, so Poppy comes out and says, "Hi, Jerry, how you doing?" And he walks out, and Jerry thinks and says, "Hey, that guy didn't wash his hands." And so it was funny how they were working it because Jerry's watching this guy roll a pizza dough,
Yeah.
not washing his hands, right? And he was serving people, so that was kind of like gross, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how is it supposed to be funny? I should be rolling
it was
on-
funny because not because the plot line was funny, but because of the reaction of Jerry
Oh, okay.
knowing.
I mean, in the end, you're just watching terrible people be terrible.
Yeah.
That's what the
yeah.
that's what the show is.
Mm-hmm. And they had to call the authorities eventually to
Yeah.
shut the restaurant down. And then George, there was a scene where George was just about to get a promotion.
Mhm.
And he was talking to all the executives, and they were in this restaurant where Poppy was. And so their initiation was George would have to eat what they ate. But George knew that Poppy didn't wash his hands.
Right.
So they were showing like these close-ups of these guys about to reach for their food. "You got to eat this, George." George would be like going like this, and he wouldn't tell them why. Then they had a scene where all those guys got sick except for George.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I may have lost a job, but at least I didn't get ptomaine poisoning."
Yeah.
You know, just stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
that crazy kind of writing. But
You know, there's only one episode I found mildly amusing. Like, huh.
really?
Oh. It was not a funny episode, but at least it was something a little more interesting. It was about they had to cater this kitty birthday kitty's birthday party, a child's birthday party. And they got this grumpy old clown who said, "I don't do bozo. I don't like doing this gig," and he was an angry looking clown. Well,
Well, that was based on Rigoletto, the clown
yeah.
from the opera,
Uh-huh.
who was supposed to be kind of not a mean clown, but kind of, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, gruff.
So they just kind of played off of
Yeah.
character.
And anyway, well, there was a fire and an electrical thing at the child kitty's birthday party, and they all ran out because they didn't want to get burned, and they got in trouble for it. That was almost amusing.
Yeah.
Almost.
But, you know, like I said, to sum this part of the conversation of Seinfeld, which is kind of an acquired
Yeah.
comedy,
Yeah.
whereas A.L.F. was definitely funny.
Oh yeah. And,
And,
to,
you know, the Ultraman and all their science fiction, they were just pretty much,
yeah.
there was a distinct plot line.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something, and so on.
I mean-
Now, changing the subject, let's get back to...
Oh yes, the summer camps.
I didn't forget. Let's talk about that for a second. You're hosting, you're running it?
Yeah, I'm a counselor.
Go ahead and tell the audience there.
Also, this year we've got our movie making camps, but we're doing mostly stop animation, and we're also doing a Raptors of the Rockies camp.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun for the kids. I did them back in the day
Okay.
when I was first started MCAT, and it really helps me
Uh-huh.
with just learning to make videos.
So you'll be teaching these kids how to do
Yeah.
all that stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, I asked Scott earlier, I'd like to do a cafe 3D virtual. Would that be possible?
Virtual reality. I mean,
You think that would be possible? To do an episode? Of the
Yeah, you'd
cafe?
have to get some equipment for it, but like
Okay. It's just a thought.
plausible.
Okay, just a thought. Like maybe you can help me with that sometime after this camp is over.
Yeah.
When does this camp start officially?
Okay, well, I gotta get my phone out again because
Oh, sorry.
these dates aren't right.
Oh. Okay. And we're almost running out of time too. This was so fun.
Yeah.
The first camp starts June 19th.
June 19th, what time?
The 23rd.
June 19th to the 23rd?
Yeah.
And that's the camp here at the MCAT studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil will be running that, so...
Yeah, that's
keep
when the
on
first
television.
camp.
Yeah, first camp.
starts.
How many camps do they have?
Let's see. This year we've got 5 camps, but the zombie camp is full. So.
Can you quickly name all the camps, or as far as the dates or whatever? The first one you said was on the 19th?
Yeah, June 19th to 23rd. Our
That's the
second
first
camp
Okay.
is June 26th to the 30th.
Okay.
And then our next 2 camps are in July, and that's the 10th to the 14th,
Okay.
and the 17th to the 21st. And then our last camp, our zombie camp, which is full,
Okay.
is the 31st to August 4th.
Now, so the regular producers of MCAT won't be doing any work during that time, right?
Correct.
So this is the last taping of Asaph Cafe for now. But see, I have so many shows ahead, it won't matter. I'll still be running.
Wait,
anyway.
the 12th, what time, next week we could do one because it's open 11 to 7, isn't it?
Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't start till the 19th. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could do one tomorrow, next week.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. We could probably do that then.
Yeah.
And there'll be some time in between camps that you'll be able to
Oh, okay.
record.
And then will we have to request that time or whatever?
Well, the time in between camps will work just the same. Like,
Okay.
for example, there's the camp that doesn't start till July 10th.
Okay.
So you'll be able to film like for almost all of July for that.
Okay.
The
Cool.
beginning of July.
That'll be fine. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, Neil. Are any last minute words? We're like down to our last 5 minutes. Any last minute words you want to say?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Anything to say.
Well, I know you've never been on this show before, but thanks, and it was good to talk about the science fiction and Ultraman and all the rest, and the younger generation
Mhm.
can hear about it. Emmett, any final words you want to say?
Oh, it's a real joke. There were these 2 washing machines, and they were splashing around a coffee cup, and this one dishwasher came along and said, "Oh, I can't see around that." Ah, wasn't that hilarious?
That's an acquired taste too, surreal
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah.
Emmett had a book on surreal jokes one day.
Well, not surreal books, but jokes, but surrealism, surreal
Surrealism,
poetry.
yeah,
Yes.
poetry. And there was one poem that I just could not stop laughing when I started reading it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love surrealism. So-
Now this show is about to start going live pretty soon. Did you hear about that?
I think you might have brought
Yeah,
it up.
Asaph Cafe. We're getting ready to go in front of a live audience here, probably by this fall.
Wonderful.
Oh, awesome.
That'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. And Emmet, I told you he can bring his surrealism
Yeah.
onto the show.
Mhm.
Imagine doing that in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
You know how fun that'll be.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool.
Now, my final question: you have any favorite science fiction or what do you call Ultraman? Do you have a favorite of any of those characters?
Let's see. That's a good question. I mean, Ultraman is a classic, but then you also got to remember like Astro Boy.
Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't mention him. That's right.
Yeah. Now, there's a very Ultraman-esque character, except not
Yeah.
giant.
Mm.
I know. Well, if we would lived overseas, I would say Ultraman is the number one. I think that's still that franchise is still going on.
Yeah. Well, it keeps getting reboots.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think done like 3 or 4. I think reboots of
Mhm.
Ultraman now
Yeah.
these days. And Emma, do you have a favorite of any of those, like Marine Boy, Speed Racer, Ultraman?
Well, the reason I didn't like
Sokko?
Speed Racer because it really wasn't about science fiction, just
No.
cars, and I'm not a car fan.
Yeah.
For anime, if you're talking about anime, are you talking about science fiction in general?
Yeah,
Well, science fiction in general will probably be Battlestar Galactica.
that's
would-
on. By the way, did you know that? MeTV is showing Battlestar Galactica. I was channel changing and I saw it.
The old one.
The old one with Lauren Green.
Oh, wonderful, fascinating!
Yeah.
I have all the episodes on video.
No, they are. Well, they've changed their whole summer setup. MeTV.
That's wonderful.
They took Time Tunnel off and Landed Giants off, but they've got Battlestar Galactica on. They've got A.L.F on. They've got. Oh my goodness, I don't have it memorized. They just changed it. I think they've
Yeah.
only done it like this is their first week
Yeah.
for summer.
Right.
Guess what? They probably cut out scenes from Battlestar Galactica.
I don't know. I'm just saying that it was on.
That was wonderful. That's wonderful.
It was
That's
on.
wonderful.
I couldn't tell you what time. We'd have to look it up on the computer if we sign off. But yeah.
Yeah.
They're showing the series.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I have almost all the episodes on videotape when they had a marathon on the Sci-Fi Channel. So I have all in these videotapes of my videotape collection. That's almost all of them. That was an excellent show. I mean, Star Trek would be my second one. I guess my second.
So
favorite.
you like that better than Star Trek, huh? Battlestar Galactica.
Slightly, just slightly. It's almost a tie. But if I had to pick one science fiction show on a deserted island, and it's very hard to do because there's so much good stuff, it would be Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's sign out here, guys. We're out of time, and this is Asaph Cafe, and we were on the set with Ultraman and Speed Racer, and now we're with A.L.F. So I guess we'll conclude this with A.L.F. And
All right.
the premise of this show, I didn't do much playing today, but people just come on and talk about whatever they want to talk about while I play the piano. But we're getting into our conversations. That was so fun. So on my left, we have Neil again, and he'll be running that summer camp. So have people contact MCAT and get more info on that. And on my further left, Affectionately Aging Rocker Emmett. So this was fun, and I'm glad you got to go to Japan. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it was an awesome trip.
I bet it was like being on a different planet, wasn't it? In a sense, culturally.
Yeah, culturally. Yeah.
No, and I don't mean that critically. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no, I
just
mean the cities
different.
were actually pretty similar, but that's just because they're big cities.
But the television entertainment is totally different.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we have Emmet on our left, and I think we just had a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Thanks for sitting in.
Yeah.
So until our next show, Maranatha. And I always freeze on that chord when we end the show. Well, you guys just relax. I'll shut everything down so it won't look tacky like it doesn't walk off in the middle of a set.
Yeah. Oh.